You feel it the moment you wake up. That heaviness behind your eyes, the scratch at the back of your throat. Your body is telling you something is wrong. So you reach for a pill, maybe check your symptoms on your phone, maybe book a telehealth appointment. You have options, you have answers. But here is the question nobody asks. What did you do? What did your body do before any of that existed? The real answer is far stranger than you think. Go back. Not a few hundred years, not to ancient Greece or medieval Europe. Go back much further, hundreds of thousands of years. Your ancestors woke up feeling exactly what you feel right now. That same heaviness, that same scratch. And they had no pill, no doctor, no name for what was happening inside them. Just a body, fighting something invisible in a world that had no mercy for the weak. What they did next changed everything. It shaped your immune system. It shaped your instincts. It shaped the very way your body responds to illness today. And most of it, you are still doing. You just do not know it. Start with the most basic thing your body does when you get sick. You stop eating. Scientists used to think this was a side effect, a symptom, something that happened to you. Research by Ruslan Medzhitov at Yale University turned that idea completely upside down. His team showed that loss of appetite during infection is not accidental. It is a strategy. Your body is deliberately shutting down food intake to redirect energy toward your immune response. When you are sick and you do not feel hungry, that is not your body failing you. That is your body executing a program that is hundreds of millions of years old. Your ancestors did not need to understand this. Their bodies simply did it. When illness came, they stopped chasing food. They rested. They stayed close to water. They moved less. Every single one of those behaviors had a biological reason behind it, even if no one could name it. The behavior came first. The explanation came much, much later. Now think about fever. You have probably been told to bring a fever down. Reach for ibuprofen. Cool the body. Get it back to normal. But your ancestors had no ibuprofen. And a fever, it turns out, is one of the most sophisticated weapons your immune system has ever developed. Research by Matthew Kluger at the University of Michigan in the 1970s demonstrated that fever is not a malfunction. It is a targeted biological response. When your body temperature rises, it becomes a hostile environment for bacteria and viruses. Many pathogens cannot replicate efficiently above a certain temperature. Your body is literally cooking the invader out of you. Your ancestors survived with fevers because their bodies knew what to do with them. Modern medicine knows when to intervene and when to let that ancient system run. But ancient humans did not just let their bodies fight alone. They learned. Slowly, through observation, through accident, through survival. And what they learned was built entirely from the world around them. Plants. The relationship between humans and medicinal plants is older than language. Older than fire, possibly. In 1960, archaeologist Ralph Selecki excavated a Neanderthal burial site in Shanidar Cave in what is now Iraq. The remains were surrounded by pollen. Not random pollen. Clustered, concentrated pollen from at least 8 species of flowering plants. Plants that modern pharmacology recognizes as having antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and diuretic properties. Ephedra, groundsel, yarrow. These were not decorations, they were medicine. And these were Neanderthals, not modern humans. This knowledge is not a feature of civilization. It is a feature of being human, or something close to it. Your ancestors did not read about these plants in a textbook. They watched. They saw what an animal ate when it was sick. They noticed which leaves reduced swelling when pressed against a wound. They tried things. Some of those trials killed people. Some of them worked. The ones that worked got remembered, passed down, woven into ritual and practice until the reason was forgotten, but the behavior remained. That is how medicine began. Not in a laboratory, around a fire. And around that fire, something else happened. Something that does not appear in any pharmacology textbook, but may have been just as powerful. Community. When you are sick, you want someone nearby. You want a voice, a hand, presence. You might think that is just comfort. It is not just comfort. Research by John Cacioppo at the University of Chicago showed that social isolation produces measurable physiological stress responses, elevated cortisol, disrupted sleep, suppressed immune function. The flip side of that finding is just as striking. Social connection is not merely emotionally beneficial, it is immunologically beneficial. Being with others when you are sick is not weakness. It is an ancient biological strategy. Your ancestors were never sick alone. The group gathered. Someone sat nearby. Someone brought water or roots or leaves. Someone made sounds, chanting, humming, rhythm. These rituals had no germ theory behind them, but they reduced stress. And stress reduction during infection matters enormously. Cortisol suppresses immune function. Anything that lowers cortisol during illness is, in a very real biological sense, medicine. This is why you find healing ritual in every human culture ever studied. Every single one. Across every continent, every era, every level of technological development, shamans and healers and medicine people were not frauds practicing superstition. They were stress reduction systems wrapped in the language available to them. They were doing something real, even when the explanation was wrong. Now here is where it gets stranger. Your body did not just respond to illness passively, it anticipated it. It changed behavior before symptoms even peaked. You know that feeling when you are coming down with something, before you are fully sick, you feel off, heavy, withdrawn. You want to be alone. You lose interest in things you normally enjoy. That is not depression. That is a system called sickness behavior, and it has been studied extensively by researcher Benjamin Hart. Sickness behavior is an orchestrated neurological response, coordinated by your immune system and your brain together, designed to make you stop doing things that would spread infection or waste energy your body needs to fight. The withdrawal, the fatigue, the loss of appetite and interest, the social pulling back. Your body is quarantining itself. Long before humans invented the word quarantine, the biological mechanism existed. Your ancestors who displayed stronger sickness behavior survived more often. They rested. They stayed away from others. They conserved resources. Their genes passed on. You are the descendant of the sick ones who rested well. Think about that the next time you push through illness to get to a meeting. You are overriding an evolutionary directive that is hundreds of thousands of years older than the concept of productivity. But rest was not passive. The body during illness is doing something extraordinary. White blood cell production accelerates. Inflammatory signals cascade through tissue. The lymphatic system works at full capacity. Sleep deepens, not because you are lazy, but because the deepest immune activity happens during sleep. Growth hormone surges. Cellular repair accelerates. When you sleep through a fever, your body is running a full systems repair protocol. Your ancient ancestors did not know that either. They just knew that when the body pulled towards sleep, you surrendered to it. Modern life fights that surrender at every turn. You have things to do, deadlines, obligations. And so you take something to reduce the fever, mask the fatigue, suppress the sickness behavior, and keep moving. Sometimes that is necessary. But sometimes, and this is the part that takes some sitting with, you are defeating a system that evolved to heal you. This does not mean ancient medicine was better. It was brutal. People died from infections that a single dose of modern antibiotics would clear in 3 days. Children died from diseases we have not seen in generations. Childbirth was among the most dangerous things a body could do. The ancients had none of our tools, and that cost them enormously. But they had something else. They had an unmediated relationship with their own bodies. They had no option but to listen. When the body said stop, they stopped. When the body said sleep, they slept. When the body said eat this leaf, generations of observation had already told them why. They were inside the intelligence of their biology in a way that modern life has made very easy to override. You wake up sick today. You reach for something to suppress what your body is doing. You push through the day. You stay connected, stay productive, stay moving. And the illness drags on. Or it returns. Because the program is still running underneath everything you did to quiet it. It is patient. It has been patient for hundreds of thousands of years. And it will keep running until you let it finish. Tonight, when you feel that first scratch at the back of your throat, Remember what it actually is. It is not a malfunction. It is not an inconvenience. It is a message written in the oldest language your body knows. And for most of human existence, the only possible answer was to listen. Your ancestors had no other choice, and maybe that was the most medicinal thing about them.
वीडियोस बनाने हैं, फिल्मोरा है ना।